I didn't say anything. I didn't tell you it was Friday, but yet it is. I can't believe this week has gone by so fast. We had so much fun. Hello, everyone. Robert Imbriali here, and I have two amazing people joining me today for the show. One you know is Mr. Poppy, and we're going to get started today. We're going to do our top 10 countdown as we always do, the top 10 stories you may have missed this week, but I know you guys pay attention. You haven't missed anything. And then we're going to introduce you to our special guest who you normally see in our chat room. We plucked them out of the chat room with a helicopter. We dragged him across and we put him on the screen. So you're actually going to see his face for the first time. Hang on. We're going to have some fun today. Boom! And we are live and having a bunch of fun. Mr. Poppy, how are you today?
I am fantastic. It's been a great Friday. Had a lot of fun today. Looking forward to this evening.
We have a lot to cover.
Yeah, we could spend days talking about all this stuff.
Tell me a little bit about your day. I need 2 minutes to get a shot set up that I don't have set up here. So just give me 2 minutes.
No worries. Yeah, no problem. I can fill 2 minutes. I'm a master. But no, it was a great day. Me taking a couple days off this week really helped me out from a mental standpoint. Sometimes it's got to do that. You got to unplug. You got to do some self-care. And so I did that this week. And we're moving ahead forward, recharge, re-energize, ready to continue deconstructing the mainstream narrative and taking down a deep state, kicking those guys in the nuts every chance we get. It's been a lot of fun, kind of watching them, everything fall apart.
Oh, has it ever been? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, no question.
It's coming down like a house of cards, folding like a cheap suit.
So I'll tell you a couple of things. We've been getting phone calls from people in the truther community this week and emails and I have people reaching out to me via text message who are in this realm along with us, and they're losing hope. It seems to be a thing that's going on. It's like we're in that lull right now where it's like we're not having enough wins. And, the truth of the matter is this is war, and we're going to have some wins. We're going to lose some battles along the way. But ultimately, we have to remember, in the end, we're going to win. We're going to be triumphant. So while it can look dire at times, I was talking to Lewis about this earlier, and he said, hey, there's Russia lost an airfield, right, during this war just recently, and Putin's not stopping. He's got his eye on the goal, and he's going to keep going. And I think all of us have to learn that. It's like if we want to be successful people don't quit. They just don't. They have tenacity, and they just keep going. Bruce, like you, I have rough days too. I wake up and sometimes I'm really sad and it's like, oh, I can't get through this. And then I go look for what are the highlights? Are there points out there? Are we getting any wins? And the answer right now, I mean, Sunday night, I tell you, I was real excited about seeing what I was seeing on X. And as we continued to go into Monday, we saw all the stuff starting to pop and all these lawsuits, and every lawsuit against Trump now seems like the wheels are falling off it, and they're really having a hard time keeping it together. I mean, how could you look at that and say nothing's happening, right?
It's disclosure. I mean, it's confirming. We have to. That's the whole thing. 17 back channel intelligence told us. We have to show them. You can't tell them.
Right.
So now many people. Not most of the people watching our shows, because we're kind of, everybody's mostly in the know. There might be some new people around coming through, which is good. But for the normies or the drowsies, as Odyssey called them, the things that are happening are proving the corruptness, the broken, the captured operation of our judicial system. That seems to be, the last few months, all of this lawfare that they're trying to impose upon we the people is failing. And we got to continue fighting and continuing the battle, continuing to expose. And I believe, I've said it before. It's not a great visual, but the zit is about to pop on this whole situation. 2024. Trump has said multiple times.
I'll leave those visuals to you, my friend.
The final battle. 2024 is the final battle. So it's gonna get bumpy. But hey, bring it on. We're gonna be ready. Mentally, physically, spiritually.
Yep.
and I'm ready for the task.
And it's our opportunity now, more than anything, for us to come together as a community and start supporting each other. And we were talking earlier about the infighting that seems to be going on in this community a lot, and we're not engaging. I'm sorry, it's just not a game we're going to play. And the truth of the matter is, it's like maybe there's infiltration. Maybe these things are, intentionally set up so that we destroy ourselves from the inside. And, the more mature of us need to realize that could be happening and not to engage. It's just not what we need to do. We need to be coming together right now because together we're powerful. We're not powerful if we're infighting.
Come together.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to do a show, Bruce, and you're going to have your DJ station set up. And every time I say something and there's a song, bam, you're going to throw it up for us.
I'm usually pretty quick. Yeah, that's one of the things I love about the DJ is playing songs. I mean, just a quick funny story. There was a while back there, I was doing karaoke shows in bars 4 or 5 nights a week. So I'd be there from 9 o'clock at night till like 2, 3 in the morning. And at the bar, drink, many people get their wobbly boots on. Just say it that way. Their wobbly boots, or they fall off the bar stool. Well, I always have it queued up, ready to go. And that song, that Shubba Wubba song, we get knocked down, you get back up again. So if somebody fell down, from their wobbly boots, or they fell off the stool, I pop. No matter what was going on, I'd stop everything and pop that song right now. And then if somebody was trying to get, a little bit aggressive, if it's trying to start a fight or something, some stupid drunken disagreement, I'd always have that song, War, what is it good for? Can't we all just get along? All those different things. So I enjoy it. It's fun. I love to play music right at the right time.
Well, we're going to figure this out because it would be really fun to have you DJ a party for us. Maybe we have a watch party of some sort, or just kind of a gathering, and then have you doing some DJing in the back virtually. You don't actually have to be in person. All right. So I promised you that we plucked somebody out of the chat room and brought them on board today. So why don't we introduce our very, very special guest, and then we're going to go into our top 10, because that is always intriguing, and all the different stories and everything that we may have shined. We actually did quite well. I think we shined a light on most of them this week. So, Bruce, you want to introduce our guest?
Ladies and gentlemen, from parts unknown, South Carolina, the best person I know that can make the hell of a carrot cake, and he's a great guy besides that. Please help us welcome
Amelia and men dressing like women and all the rest of this, since the women's lib thing started, and men have to be more in touch with their emotions, and really we feminized our males is what we've done. And he said anytime that happens in society and history, you go back and look, it always ends up in mass slaughter, that there's no pushback.
Yep.
So eye-opening to think about, that may be where we are. We're at that final stage now. And it's the males with the testosterone that are going to get us through to the other side. The other ones may be just removed.
They've been attacking, the toxic masculinity. They're you can see it go back into late 90s and the early 2000s. Everything was about feelings and participation trophies and the destruction of the family, separated, parents and divorce and, no real man in the house.
Right.
And then, it's just, then you get, I just was scrolling through and I got to discuss this, Levin, Rachel, then you get people like that in your government.
Well, Keith had mentioned that yesterday too. He said, if you look at the Russian military, how they're training their soldiers, he was mentioning they soak a brick in gasoline. They hold the soldier's arms and legs, they put it on his back, and they light the thing on fire, and then they smash it with a sledgehammer to toughen them up. And, here our military is getting sensitivity training, and the males get to walk around in high heels to understand what it's like to be a woman. Who's got a stronger military?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No
Bruce.
brainer.
There's no comment, right?
No brainer.
Yeah.
It's scary enough. We have Joey G that wears high heels. We don't need our military wearing high heels.
Hey, Joey.
Digs right in the beginning.
Poor Joey.
I got him. If listen, Italian, you know how it is, Robert. If we're not busting your chops, we don't like it.
That's right. Exactly right. So true. Okay, before we jump on to number 9, I want to do this real quick and let you know to go over to screwbiggov.com. Real important. That's where Lewis keeps all the good stuff. Rememberyouroath.com. There's a link there, Freedom in Action, for those of you who want to know what to do on a local level. His Cages, the latest documentary. And he's got more, 2 documentaries, I think, in his head he's working on. And there's a button there for swag. And also, his social media links are there, which are really helpful. And if you want to reach out to us, I am at Robert at RenegadeMedia.tv, and Bruce is at Bruce Poppy at switch-usa.com. We'd love to get your emails. I was actually reading some of the emails this morning. Guys do a really nice job. Thank you for all the kind words, and all the stuff that we're doing here is really, really appreciated when we get the kind words. We don't do it for that, but it's always a little icing on the cake. We do appreciate it. Tucker's Putin interview. This is interesting. I had a lot to say about this, but I wasn't feeling well. So Lewis read my comments on air the other day. Look at that number at the bottom. How many views do you see there? Can you see it?
203 million?
203 million. That is more than, what, 10 times what CNN and Fox get? Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So Tucker's Putin interview breaks 200 million views in just 1 week. Is quite impressive to see that we now are the media.
That's right.
Yeah. You saw this week that CBS laid off 800 people. What do you think that's about? Viewership is so high, the ad revenue is incredible. Let's lay off people. No, not quite. Right? Yeah. It's kind of the opposite. People are tuning it out.
One of the big hitters, and this person was mentioned multiple times in drops, Miss Catherine Herridge.
Catherine Herridge, yep.
Follow the pen. So she's a hard hitter, good journalist. I haven't seen anything nefarious or evil from her. She's always digging with the constraints that she had working there at CBS. But now she's a free agent like Tucker, and there are people going on X are going crazy. You need to start your show and do a show on X. It's just be on X, be independent, do what you do. Bodies are buried.
Yep.
So they're encouraging Catherine Herridge to become Tucker 2.0.
Yeah, she was at Fox for a long time, and then she left and went over to CBS. And was still doing the same thing, which was interesting that she could do that at that station,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of possibility here. By the way, the vision for X goes way beyond what it was for Twitter. He really wants this to be an e-commerce website, a banking website, and to compete with YouTube. So there'll be shows on here. There'll be full length. Actually, we're streaming on X right now, and we do every one of our shows on X. And the reason being is because we know that that's the direction that it's going in.
Yep.
So there's very strong probability that he could bring somebody like a Catherine Herridge on, and more. There's a lot of journalists out there that probably should have shows. And boy, he would really break the mold of traditional media, because he would let them do what they need to do, gloves off.
Yep. He brought back Alex Jones. Alex Jones was kicked off of Twitter, so he's back on there now.
He's back, yeah.
And then you can also, one of the best people to follow on Twitter, here's the handle, at Bruce Poppy 1776.
Who's that?
Bruce Poppy 1776. Some crazy dude down in Florida that just likes to talk shit.
Bruce Poppy 1776. Is that the Bruce Poppy we're thinking about?
Could be. All the politicians, if their goal is to expose that, hey, yeah, now is the time. If their goal is to get some type of financial, windfall from suing the government for whatever, it's probably not the best time. Not
the best time at all. It'll be interesting to see. I agree with you, Bruce. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, but it's sort of the timing is kind of curious. It's almost like they're feeling like, well, the tide has shifted now. We're moving in this direction, where all this stuff is coming out. Now's the time to pull out the lawsuit. Let's see where we go with it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Buck?
Same thing. We got for years they used the legal system and justice system against us. I don't think it's going to go anywhere either. But maybe the more, maybe it's time for us to start throwing the stuff at the fan, right? And seeing what sticks.
See, I like that thought because they could bury them with discovery, and there's a lot of stuff that can come out in a case, regardless of the outcome of the case, that you could bring up in discovery. Because and Lewis is always saying, it's like, oh, it just gets it on the record, and it's like, yeah, if you get all this information out, because for the case, they can now request documents and things that maybe they couldn't get before. Now they got a little bit of clout.
Yep.
Well, then the criminals, behind the thing always will redact it. They can't have it. Methods and sources, or different things like that. There's still right now. Just how many years ago did they a judge say that you need to release the FBI needs to release the Seth Rich laptop, and now they're filing more FOIA exemptions to be able to not do that. So there's something.
Hey, they'll do it, Bruce. They'll do it. They need 66 years though, but they'll do it. That's how it would work. So you're going to tell us which country it is?
Oh, it was Israel was the top one.
Israel. Yeah. Well, that kind of makes sense. Wow. I did see that post, by the way, Bruce. I didn't capture it, but I did see it.
Yeah, I reposted it, and it was from 1946. I better go look at
Bruce Poppy, 1776. Am I following you already?
Right. You should. You're missing the boat. For the longest time, it was UK. Yeah, I'm watching the graph here again real quick. It's amazing. Just the amount of money. The source is the foreignassistance.gov, U.S. Agency for International Shipment, USAID, and U.S. Department of State on behalf of the United States government agencies reporting foreign assistance. That's just the money we know about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. It ain't over yet, as 107 would like to say. We're going to keep sending money away. Hey, this guy got booted from Apple Music.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, it isn't, not what you think it is, which is kind of interesting. This is number 6 on our esteemed list here. Kanye West, I guess you pronounce it. Latest number 1 album removed from Apple Music Store. Vultures 1 was removed from the platforms Thursday after its distributor, Fuga, reportedly said its upload violated a service agreement. So this wasn't a censorship, which is kind of what the story would lead you to believe. But then you dig into it and you find out Fuga is a distribution platform by the Downtown Music Holdings. On Thursday, the company said it had declined an offer to work with West last year, but the album was nevertheless uploaded by Fuga, by a Fuga client. It remains unclear what the company meant by client. Looked like it might have been a story, but it doesn't seem to be anything more than a contract dispute.
Yeah, but what that was in her top 10.
Yeah.
And I mean, she's usually does pretty good work, but quite honestly, who gives the F about
Bingo!
He goes by now.
Well, Buckshot might. Let's let Buckshot talk. He might have a comment here.
You're a Kanye West fan? You're in this fan club?
I am definitely not a Kanye West fan. He was married to a witch, and I'm in the forget about it category.
That's where we all are on this. So, I think what they tried to do is make it a story about censorship and Apple Music, and if you look into it, it's more a contract dispute than anything. So it's a nothing burger.
It sounds like rich man problems.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Number 5, a new report finds Obama's CIA had foreign allies spy on the Trump team, triggering the Russia collusion hoax. I don't know about you, but this is probably the biggest of the stories that have been coming out this week.
Si, senor.
Si, senor. What do you think, Bruce?
This is proof of treason. We've known about it. We've known this for years, and now here comes a leaked letter, and that's what they're talking about, right? The letter, this top secret strap thing for eyes only. To Boris Johnson. It was on August 26, 2016. GCHQ CSO filed for permission to execute Project Folsom at the behest of U.S. President, seeking intelligence gathering into Trump. This is August. So it's like two plus months, just over 2 months.
Before he won the election. Yeah.
before the election.
Yep.
And then Susan Rice sticks her nose in the business. U.S. National Security Advisor Rice has requested that we continue our surveillance during the transition period as internal U.S. intelligence is potentially compromised by the incoming Trump administration. So they were worried that Trump was going to clean up the CI, intelligence community, and they weren't going to get their spying done. But this is treason. How can this not be? So my question, anybody in the chat, maybe Lewis or Buckshot, how do you file for treason charge? Is that Department of Justice? Is that a function of Congress? Who does that?
That's above my pay grade, but we have to find out. It really would be useful to find out. Buckshot, do you know?
Yeah, I mean,
where's Derek Johnson when we need him?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So yeah, where is this? I mean, is it going to be it would ultimately have to be some type of tribunal situation because you know that our normal courts are captured operation. So yeah, how do we start the ball rolling for treason and build a gallows on the White House?
Well, you might be onto something. It may just be a military tribunal that does that. That may be where this goes. All right.
You said military is the only way.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe that's what it's going to end up being, and that's where the treason trial will end up happening. But this is fascinating because Obama's been in the background. If you remember when he left office, he moved literally 2 blocks away from the White House, right? So he didn't go very far, and people were like, "Well, that's kind of weird," because normally presidents go back to from wherever they came, they go back to their homeland, and this guy didn't. He just moved 2 blocks away. So he obviously, and there was this other quote from him saying that he would love to not be in the spotlight, but to be able to have somebody else in the spotlight where he could just make the directives on what to do and let them take the heat.
Shadow government.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's funny you mentioned that all the older, other presidents after their terms go back to their homeland. I didn't think he was going to go back to Kenya. I don't think so.
He wasn't going to go back to Kenya. Yeah.
No.
Or Hawaii,
they
or
don't want him over there.
or wherever else they say he came from. Right? But this is interesting that he's implicated now because now, when you say, okay, they're going after Trump, you can't go after an ex-president. Well, now they set precedent that, yes, you can go after an ex-president, right?
Yep.
So now that allows them to go after this guy. If we had a justice system that actually did its job, Obama would be getting a phone call already.
Yep.
So what's the hypothesis? Does anything happen or not? Nothing happens.
It could be a while. I mean, I just don't see them, anybody frothing at the mouth, nobody's talking about it that has is in any position of alleged authority. Right. I mean, even MGN MFRC1 says if they have it all, then shouldn't they be doing something? We have no court, and arguably the JAG may be also compromised or at least split. So I mean, yeah, where's the accountability come at some point? Because we know, like we said, there was recently it was even mumbled, Brahma's over there in the corner watching, so be careful what you say.
Well, there's Keith Blandford brought this up. Lewis asked him about the white hats, right? And he said, if I ever saw a white hat in person, I'd punch him in the face, saying, "What the hell are you waiting for? Do something." And he said he thinks there's black hats, but the bigger group is actually the gray hats, the ones that kind of go with the wind, the Lindsey Graham types, right? Wherever the energy is, that's where he's going to float. And whatever side is winning, he'll be on that side. And he said that's the more dangerous part because you got people who really can play both sides of the fence, right?
Yep.
So it's interesting. The other thing that I may think of is like, okay, maybe they're not going to say anything publicly, but they, obviously have this information. And if they are building a case against Obama, this is just one piece that they leaked out to kind of seed us and see where we are on it. Are we all excited about doing it? Yes, we're going to do it. We should do it. And, at some point, maybe they do pull that trigger. There's a lot of chatter about seeing some of this start in March. Some of them said between March and May, we're going to see a lot of this kind of activity. We'll see.
Right. I was talking to somebody, I can't reveal my source. And I hate saying that. The person actually, really seriously,
Were
they
you talking
called
to your
me
dog
while-
again, Bruce? What's up?
No, the person that I'm speaking of just called me a couple minutes ago, and I told him I was on the live, couldn't talk to him. But he said, yeah, in the next 3 weeks, by the middle of March, there's going to be some pretty amazing fireworks.
Yep.
From that respect. And so I believe and trust this person. They're pretty connected. But we'll see. And we've heard this stuff before. I hate dates, all this stuff. And it depends. There's a section, there's a sect, if you will, of the Patriot movement that said, oh, it's already done. Yeah, Obama's been strung up. So is Hillary. They're if you're tuned in and people wearing masks, so we don't have nothing to worry about. Yeah. It's over with. We're just going through the motion.
Yeah, well, if that were true, they wouldn't have the avatars, right? The avatars are still there, and if they're still in that position, whether or not it's the actual person or not, it doesn't matter because we're having the same result.
Yep.
So if you take the real guy out, you got to take out the avatar too, and and the only way to do that is to make it public and say, look, we did take Hillary Clinton down, or we did take Bill Clinton down, or Obama down, right? And you get to see that video. And if you don't see that, there's no proof. Then it's just hearsay.
It didn't happen.
I like carrot cake and all, but I don't like following that dangling carrot. It's...
Oh, good one. I like that one.
I knew he was going to bring carrot cake into this conversation. I just didn't know how he would do it.
I had to bring it in one way or another. Since I don't have cannolis, the Joey's a cannoli guy, so I make them on occasion, but yeah, the carrot cake is what people prefer me making. But so yeah, I had to throw that reference in there.
And those sesame cookies were friggin' amazing, by the way, too.
And of course, my mom yelled at me. Why'd you only bring him 2 cookies? Because you yelled at but that was for you and Dad for not to eat them all.
Like, how about you make, Mom? I only made 100.
Yeah, my mom's like, Robert. My mom tells me I only made 100, so don't eat a lot. So I only brought Bruce and Natalie 1 cookie each, and
Natalie didn't get one.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I hope she's not watching this feed.
so then I got home and I was like, yeah, I brought them. You only brought them 2 cookies. She's like, I was only telling. I'm like, yeah, because she told me 100. She's like, that was just for you and Dad. I didn't want you guys eating them all. So
I gotta love those old Italian moms, man.
Yeah.
All right, number 4.
Cool.
Friend.
All right, then admit, I screwed up.
Yeah, well, they tell you about alcoholic,
hangover. Right? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the guy in the hangover, he felt, we fucked up.
Yeah, well, an alcoholic, the 50% of the cure is admitting that there's a problem, right? And I think that's the same too for themselves or heal themselves from this. First thing to admit is I made a mistake. I bought into the narrative and I shouldn't have. And now, okay, great, you're there. Now, let's look for solutions. Let's look for ways to, get this crap out of your system as best we can.
And there's plenty of protocols, to begin that process of the detox and removing stuff. I mean, McCullough's got some good stuff, even Malone, nanokinase. I don't know if I'm saying that properly. That's one of the things. Mm-hmm. Natokinase, curcumin.
Curcumin.
Yeah, that one.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple other things that you can do. And besides, the other stuff, you got to get your liver right. Got to get your liver right to, help their body detox.
Buckshot, do you have your Neumi?
I don't. It's in the bathroom.
Okay. I don't know why it's in the bathroom. It belongs in the kitchen, but okay.
It's where I got to get out of the shower and do the spray and everything out of the shower.
Is that how you do it?
Doors are open and everything.
That's exactly how you do it. You just give yourself a little
spray
shot.
Up in the air. It's like
just a little bit. That's all you need to do. You look good. You look 10 years younger.
Yeah, Bruce is making it rain over there.
It really is. Great product, by the way, people. We talk about it, we joke about it a lot, but Neumi Skin, really, really good product. And look how young Bruce looks. Look at that little smooth skin that he's got going on. And people looked at Bruce from photos from like a year ago, and you could see the difference. It's really tremendous how quickly it helps you and brightens your complexion. Here's a lady here. This lady's from about 2 years ago. The sun and everything else on the left-hand side. Then she's on Neumi. She's using the spray and the Neumi swish, and you can see, wow, what a difference. So it doesn't take much. It's very easy to do. The NutraSwish is very simple. You just put a couple capfuls in your mouth, swish it around for a couple of minutes, and you're getting glutathione right into your blood system, and it helps you with your liver. Will deal with oxidative stress. And for the ladies, that time of the month, post or premenopausal, we have Neumi Hers, and this is a botanical. And there's a lot of botanicals in here that help with things like, those hot flashes and mood swings and low libido and things like that. So this product is phenomenal. And the results we're hearing is, I wish we could talk more about them, but they tell us, don't say too much. The FDA is watching. So we got to be a little bit careful. We want to find out more. Go over to renegademedia.tv/energy, renegademedia.tv/energy. And thank you, boys, for bringing that up. We're all fans here, which is really kind of fun. And I know a lot of people in our chat room are as well, because I see the posts all the time. I love my Neumi. I love my Neumi. Cool.
And my link is in the description of my video on my channel.
There you go. Excellent.
And I think that lady, that was a clone. She was wearing a mask or something.
Yeah. It didn't even look like the same lady.
That wasn't the same lady. Come on.
All right, I'll continue with our little list here. Number 3, the Biden Homeland Security Secretary Mayorkas is impeached for border failure. Took 2 votes to get there, but they got him impeached. What's it mean?
Absolutely
nothing. Burger.
I mean, it's not going to go through the Senate. It's just just like Trump got impeached 3 times, right?
Yeah, twice. But
twice.
4 times.
Twice.
Well, I don't know. I
Indicted
lost
4
count.
times.
I don't know. They impeach him every week.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's just this means tons of people have been impeached. So, I mean, he's the first cabinet member to be impeached for like 150 years or something.
Right.
I mean, so that's fairly significant. But I mean, if the anybody in the Senate was intellectually honest, there's no way that he should stay in office.
There's no way he should have got a single vote to block him being impeached. I mean, it should have just been all out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right. It's an attack on democracy, according to the president.
Yep.
Those evil Republicans.
There he is.
There he
is.
Joey G's letting everyone know that I'm Lewis in a mask today.
You're Lewis in a mask? Oh, no. I don't like that.
Take the mask off and prove it.
Okay, here we go.
Ready?
I'm going to take my mask off.
Make the switch, Robert.
Make the
that
switch.
Was a perfect opportunity. I set you up, man. You could have done it.
You set me up, but I wasn't ready to be set up. Anyway, you go.
Yeah. I changed my shirt, too, real quick.
You look great.
Quick thing. I prefer the shirt I was wearing a minute ago, though.
What did it say?
It said "Screw Big Gov" on it.
Oh,
it's a much better. So, boys, you've been having a very interesting conversation. If I could step back to what you were talking about previously, I think it is hard for these people to change their paradigm, their lifetime paradigm, and it's not just because. See, we assume, as do I, that it's the built-in brainwashing over all of the decades is why. I think a lot of it has to do with internal ego, and what I mean by that is, imagine when a person that's been going to doctor. Most of it we've already discovered. We also have to admit that Big Pharma's number one objective is money. That's the number one objective, is profit, right? So what they've done is Big Pharma has made a conscious decision to take something that already works naturally without side effects and reproduce it synthetically. Why would they do that when they can just grab those herbs and give people the best quality? Well, because you cannot patent nature. So if you can't patent it, you can't make a lot of money on it, and you can't be exclusive. So what they do is they take something that works. Think about how sinister their minds are. They take something they know works, whatever it is, right? They know it. Then they synthetically reproduce it so they have a string that they can patent that nobody else can do for 10 years or whatever it is until they can offer the generic. Same thing though. This is the game that's played. So it doesn't become evil. They started with a premise of evil. When they say, okay, We found something that works. Let's synthetically reproduce it, and then we're going to give it to you. Now, why is this important? Your body reads everything that's synthetic that's put into it as a poison.
Yep.
So although it may seem to help a certain symptom, it causes several other problems because it's a poison. You are literally being poisoned when you take a pharmaceutical from Big Pharma. In most cases, HCQ, ivermectin, maybe not so much. But in most cases, you are being poisoned. This is a conversation you can have to normies. Explain to them why is everything patented through Big Pharma. And then now you take it to the next level. How much does it take them to get it through the FDA? What, $250 to $500 million? So that's a payoff to the FDA, let's just be honest. That's a payoff. We're going to pay you this. You turn a blind, not only thinking about money. Now you take into effect what? They want to dumb us down. They need to keep us sick, right? Perpetual motion of their money machine, yes, but maybe they don't want our pineal gland and our pituitary system working the way it is, because then we figure stuff out. The Rockefeller Big Pharma ideology that they have is some of the deepest, darkest stuff, and it permeates into food and it permeates into everything else. So I believe intrinsically, most people know this. They may not know all of it, but they know it. They feel it. It's wrong. It doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right what the doctors do. They know that nutrition is 95% of your results or more, yet the doctor's training is less than 2% on nutrition.
Yep.
People know this. Deep inside, intrinsically, they know this. The struggles to get people off of this paradigm of Big Pharma and the medical industry is so tough. I don't think it's just the brainwashing. I think it's the guilt-laden issues that are involved in it also when they make that switch.
Well, they
That's
take
my
ownership
opinion.
of it. You're right. They take ownership of that decision. And when they do, it's really hard to go back on that and say, hey, you made a mistake. They don't want to feel that. And you're right, too, about the patterning throughout our entire life. We've been told the doctors are the pinnacle of society. They're society's smartest. They have all the answers. They have, they can help you. And so you look at that and you say, well, you're asking me, Lewis, to throw all of that away and now understand that the Big Pharma is evil. And they're not there to help me. In fact, they want to keep me sick, and they want to manage my decline or my demise, if you will. It's a big jump.
Absolutely.
And it's even deeper than that as well. When you start to have a breakthrough with somebody, talk to them, and they're talking about a naturopath or homeopathic type of ways of healing and dealing with your physical wellness. Like just the other night we were talking about a naturopath. And the first question this person asked, well, do they take my insurance?
Wrong question. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah. Insurance, I believe, is the biggest scam on the planet. And there's a lot of scams on the planet, but insurance is probably one of the stuff.
Well, it's interesting. We're talking about the thought process. So let's think of this. You were talking about corruption a second ago, Robert. Imagine this, and the pillars of society, I think, is what you mentioned. So let's talk about the construct of a pillar of society. Would a top doctor be considered a pillar of society? Absolutely. Yeah. Top attorney, top judge, a cop, an educator. See where I'm going with this?
All the above. Yep.
These are the pillars. These are the pillars of society that have done the most damage to the individual. These pillars. The education system is an indoctrination system. So we look up. Let's look up to our educators. God forbid, if you say anything bad about an educator, you're not a good person. True?
True.
You can't talk about a doctor. So Lewis, how can you give me any health advice? Do you have 8 years of schooling? Oh, no. So we can't talk to you, right? Don't give me legal advice. Don't tell me how to make a common sense legal decision unless you're already part of the bar. It goes on and on and on. Science. Well, okay, I'm sorry to the scientific community, but a lot of you are full of shit and you just go along to get along, right? There's no science in that. The beauty about science, if you really think about it, and this is what I learned when I was a child, the beauty about science is discovery.
And contradictions.
Absolutely, exactly. Finding out that something is different than it appears and scientifically proving it. That's not what the scientific community in general does anymore, right? They have what I call mock science. They just go ahead and repeat what somebody else has. And it's really, really sad. And if you do step out of that box, you come through with a great breakthrough.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
why am I talking so remedial right now is because this is the type of conversations you have to have with your friends and family. Don't go in with adrenochrome and 9/11 if they're totally asleep. Go in with something easy about mock science or the education system or the medical system, something they can grasp. We need to crack that door open, because when you crack that door open, they can't shut it, right? But if you don't crack the door open, you're never getting through. So I think it's important to have these very basic conversations, because this is what I've seen personally, and we're talking hundreds, and my wife is probably hundreds or more. I've seen personally literally we've seen their face change and their eyes change when they had that aha moment.
Yep.
And I got to tell you, 99% of the aha moments that we've had are on something very small and something very basic.
Really true. And the idea now is for all of us, and it's starting to happen, to have less fear about having these conversations, because we were, as a group, very scared to have these conversations because they would smack us down so quickly. And, there's some of us who said, screw it, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. And more now are starting to step up and have these kinds of conversations because you have to, right? And they can't escape it anymore.
Right. So, guys, I'm traveling with my wife, and we're doing some stuff, and then we got kind of detoured to a completely different state now because of something very important that we have to do, which is good. It's all going to be positive. And I don't want to step on any toes, Robert, but based on this multi-platform we have here, I think it would be good for Bruce to be able to get out his link to Neumi also.
Yep.
I've
got to get that set up. So by next week we'll have it done.
Okay, cool. Yeah. And so Bruce, go ahead and tell everybody your link, because I know on my channel is where most of the viewership is, and I think you guys should be able to both of you work so hard. I think for you to benefit evenly, I think is only fair.
It's super easy. BrucePoppy.Neumi.com. BrucePoppy.Neumi.com. Poppy. There you go. Boom.
Cool.
And you're quick like a bunny.
I know. This is what I love about Robert. I say something on the fly, and he's already got it on screen before I finish my sentence.
Sometimes, not always.
Yes. You talk about having these conversations, and trying to crack that door. We are Natalie and I about to embark on one of those conversations. And I don't know if they're listening or not. Maybe Natalie is, but my 7th grandchild is on the way. It's due in May. So we're gonna have to be having a discussion it's right when they're born, 30 plus, or it's just crazy.
Yeah, no wellness checks. Don't do the wellness checks. Yep.
It's so we got to have this discussion because we got to start to break the chain somewhere. You gotta have those. It might be hard, and I'm going to do it in a loving way. There you go. Boom, boom, boom.
Yep. No moss. No moss. No moss.
I don't see any reason for any. It's I don't.
A big battle I had with my ex-wife, and unfortunately I think we are seeing the negative aspect of this before, because I lost this battle. Again, I have to be honest and transparent. I lost this battle. She really, really believed heavily in antibiotics. I mean, over and over and over. There's a sniffle. Go get him antibiotics, and I believe it really jacked up their immune system today. Now, the good news is in most cases it's recoverable, but all this part and parcel is she and the two girls are really into doctor, right? and it's sad. And it to see it. And the reason why I bring this up is because as in empathy, that people are frustrated because some of your family members aren't listening to you. Well, I really think I know what I'm talking about, and I think I'm very articulate and professional, and I dig into stuff. They don't want to have anything to do with what I'm saying. So you guys just have to, and sometimes we have to know when to step back also, right. and say, okay, I'm not gonna push this anymore. My mom used to say, don't push the river, let the river flow. And we need to step back sometimes and go, okay, let it ride the way it is. This is God's path. And then I'll revisit a little bit later, or maybe they'll come around, which we do see a lot of our friends and some family members doing now. So it's kind of, it's a really cool time.
We'll get through it. I think, I was telling people the other day, it's like, if you look at where we are as a society, it's like, just imagine what this world would look like without the FDA, without Big Pharma, right? All of those things replaced, because it's going to happen. The trust in those organizations now is gone. As you look around, you see people who go to doctor, and they're the sickest among us.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah, they keep them sick. Hey, is Buckshot still in the background?
He is.
There you go.
Can you put Buckshot
your mask back on?
Before I leave, I wanted to give Buckshot a hug real quick.
Hey, I got my mask off now.
Oh, look at the shirt too. Glad that they invited you on. We know how passionate you are and the way you dig. So I just wanted to say howdy before I took off.
Hi, thanks, Lewis. Appreciate you always. Love you, and thanks to these guys for inviting me on. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. All right, guys. Love all three of you. Keep kicking ass. Hopefully, I can give you some updates of what I've been doing. But there's some really big stuff coming. And I'd say it's all positive. So it gives me kind of the nice. I just got the truth bumps here, so it's good. So I know it's going to be tough, and what everybody's going to see out there, and you're seeing it in the truther community also. This is black pill central lately. I don't know if you've noticed that the truthers are at each other, and now they're talking negative, and maybe Trump's not this, and maybe we're not going to get through this for another 10 or 20 years. Or you've noticed the guests they bring on, the guests are all black pillars. We're taking a different tack, and Robert and I made a conscious decision months ago, but that we're going to bring in the positive, and we have a unity program that we're bringing together. So pay attention in the next, probably within 30 days, you guys are going to be blown away at what we got, because you know what? The positivity, guys, and you resonating in a high positive vibration of authenticity is what is going to win this war ultimately. So leave you with that. Appreciate the three of you guys. I know all three of you bring the positiveness. So love you. Love the family that's watching right now, and probably I might be on the road with a special guest on Monday when Rob is doing the news, so that'll be pretty cool.
Cool.
All right. Hello to Sally. We said we love her.
It's Donald Duck. Okay. What can I tell you?
You guys.
Thanks, Lewis.
I talked about that earlier. That's why I took a few days off this week, so I could get my mind right. Because I don't want to be in that black pill, nothing's happening type of attitude.
We just got to continue pushing on, man. This is the great time. We can't be, and I can understand why people would feel a little hopeless. There's, they don't. But you create your own reality. Where focus goes, energy flows. If you're looking at the shit all the time, you're going to get shit, right? So if you're looking for the good stuff all the time, you're going to find good stuff. It's all where your focus goes and where your mindset is how you get through this thing. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I'm indifferent to that stuff anymore.
We can all hang out at Bruce's house if things go sideways. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't have a house, and you can come stay with me in Esther.
Okay.
I'm closing on my property on Tuesday, so I'll be a gypsy in Esther here very, very quickly.
Awesome. Hey, should we finish out our list here? We got two
yes,
items
absolutely.
left.
The top ones are always the best.
Go.
Usually how we wrap up. FBI assume if they're going to put an actor in, because the real Biden we haven't seen in years, that they wouldn't put somebody in incompetent. So the story has credence, don't you think?
The story that he's put there to destroy it? Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that 100% because they're sticking with them way too long. I mean, if they really had a ambition of maintaining the Democratic Party going forward, he would have been gone, I think, a long time ago.
Either that or the actors playing the role would be competent.
Well, yeah,
right?
Exactly. I'll go with that. Yes, but because they're playing so long, and I saw a crazy story the other day that Joe Manchin is still considering a president. Is that like this year or is that in 28? I don't. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But he's Biden. We already know he's not going to make it to the general election. The consensus among most people, because the way I know that the DNC changed the rules, and they don't want to bring in somebody new to go through a primary type process with all the magnification.
Well, they can't actually at this point because it's already past the deadline to somebody to submit their application to be part of the primary. So they really can't do anything to change it now. So they've got to wait for the primary season to be over. And then when it comes up to the DNC convention, then they can vote to not nominate the person who won the primaries. Very unique.
The DNC... they're
parting it very differently, but it's the same concept, the same game that's being played both sides. Let's destroy the other side. Let's come up with better ideas and let's do what, politics should do. Let's destroy the other side. It's a very different game.
Oh, you mean like have debate and come to a consensus on different ideas?
Yeah, no, that won't happen.
What a novel thought.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing is they're even, I'm biased because I'm in this side, but I mean, if I try to, the MAGA, America First type people are failing miserably. The more that they try, the more popular, the more people that join on board. The tent is getting bigger, the more the Democrats try.
Well, yeah, Hillary Clinton calls us a basket of deplorables and we grabbed it and ran with it, rather than running from it. Thank you. We're deplorables. All right. So we have a little bit more creativity on our side because we're a lot less sensitive than the other side is.
Yeah, Republicans make way better memes.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We move on from our top 10 list, which normally takes a half hour. We're 90 minutes in and we're just finished it, but we had a lot to share because there was so much there, and Lewis joined us as well. The ban from doing business in New York City for 3 whole years.
Mick Jagger might have a say in that argument.
Tell me
about the ugliest guy character.
Okay.
Guy of the year. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's just no common sense, right? Just out to get them, corrupt system. I mean, they're trying to bankrupt them because that's the only way they can get anything on him is by trying to take his money, right?
Well, they're failing miserably there. That's another. Yeah. They're failing miserably because I got a little follow up to this story. But this will, I don't believe. I mean, I just don't see how this can stand on an appeal if it goes forward down the road because there's so much information about the bias of this judge and his clerk, Letitia. I mean, all this stuff. They made their decision even before any court hearings ever happened.
Well, Lena Haba, his attorney, actually said that. She said this case was decided before it began, and they were not allowed to mount any kind of defense. And there's no jury. So it was this one judge who'd already decided what the result was. Didn't matter what evidence they brought forward. They weren't even allowed to bring much in the way of evidence forward. It was already decided. It was totally a scam. It was a Soviet-style, court hearing.
But just you mentioned about bankrupting Trump. Mm-hmm. So $350 million, which is a lot of money, that just came out today. I saw on X breaking the SEC has approved the merger of DWAC and Truth Social. President Trump is expected to profit almost $4 billion, given his 58% stake in the company and the current stock price. So take 350. I'm going to catch 400 billion on the other side. So fork you.
He's not going to pay this 360. This is what's going to happen.
No.
This will go on appeal.
And the same
they'll
thing
be
with
thrown
that
out.
that crazy vagina lady.
Yeah.
She's not going to see a penny.
No, not at all. And these things will both go away on appeal, and and I think they know that too. And I think the game they're playing is they're trying to destroy his reputation, and unfortunately, it's backfiring on them because every time they do this, he gets even more support because they realize how corrupt our system really is. G's comment, it's like, well, is it just Biden, or are there more players who are playing this role? Maybe this Engeron is another plant playing the role, just to make it look, over the top crazy.
I've seen some people post some pictures of an actor, they're wearing a mask that they kind of look similar.
Yeah.
But I'm not a whole buyer into a lot of that. I mean, I know the masks are crazy good. I've seen the videos of them and people pulling them off, and you're like, holy crap. But this, I just can't. I am personally, this is my viewpoint, unpopular as it might be, I'm just not there 100% yet to say, that it's a mask.
Yep.
There probably are some.
Yep.
But that's just my personal viewpoint.
True. So it's a 92-page filing. And Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump were also ordered to pay millions of dollars in fines. But like I said, I think this goes away on appeal.
Yeah.
My guess.
Yeah. And it's kind of like when the corporations get fined, right? Do they really pay anything? No, it just goes right back into their back pocket.
Yep. Yeah. Or they're fined and it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference one way or another.
And
all right. Next on our calendar here is...
move along. We got to move along. Go ahead.
Next on our schedule here, Mr. Poppy. You had a little dog in your hands. Let's talk about what you feed that dog.
All kinds of different things, and it's because of the food that they're eating. So this company, Pet Club 247, came up with some food, treats, and toys. And it's more of a supplement company. They're not like a dog food, company like Purina or whatever. They're more of a supplement company. So they've utilized this mushroom, this Coriolis versicolor mushroom, which is just crazy good. There's 400 plus studies around the world on it. Came from Japan. They've been using it for a very long time. And it also affects humans as well. It boosts and modulates your immune system to some crazy levels. It doesn't get you spiky up and down with your immune system. It brings it up and it kind of keeps it steady. But it allows your body to get to the point where it can heal itself. People with the big C, taking this versicolor mushroom, and you can't overdose on it. You can't take too much. It doesn't affect any other medications, things you're on. Just check it out. Do the research. Go to the website, healthyswitch.petclub247, healthyswitch.petclub247. That'll get you to the website. There's videos, there's research, white papers. You can even go outside of that website and do a search on this Coriolis versicolor mushroom, and it'll blow your mind, the results, the testimonies, the videos, the YouTube videos of the people's pets, where they were. We got our own pet here, our old 16-year-old Chug. Could barely move around. We thought she was going to kick off any day. Put her on this mushrooms, and she's had a complete turnaround. She's still a little bit fat, heavy. Can't quite jump up on the couch because she's got the legs that are like this long. So she's, we still got to lift her up on the couch, but she plays with the 1-year-old that we have, just crazy. It's amazing. It's mind-blowing, the turnaround that I've seen in my own pet. And I've taken the mushroom when I had my surgery. I started taking 4 or 5 of those a day to help my immune system. My doctor's mind was blown. Literally, mind was blown how quickly my scar from the surgery when I had my pacemaker replaced, how quickly it healed up, with no problem. So go check this stuff out, healthyswitch.petclub247.com.
They're asking for the dog. They want to see the dog.
Roo! He was here just around. I think they need to go outside. Roo, come here, Roo.
He's probably in his pet food right now.
Yeah. Give me some. Give me some.
So
I told us we need pictures of his.
Sauce.
There you go. Let's put him full screen so you can see him.
This is Roo. Roo is an Applehead Chihuahua. It was 1 year old around Thanksgiving, so he's pushing 18 months. But yeah, he's a little. He thinks he's a pit bull. So he loves to be cuddled. He loves to be held like a baby and run his belly.
Aw.
Yeah, he loves it. So yeah, and he's this has been helping out the older one. Stay young.
Awesome.
Don't get tangled up in my wires.
Nice, Bruce. That's what they wanted to see. You give them you give the audience what the audience requests. I love it.
Puppy dogs and rainbows, man. That's what we want.
Yep. So earlier this week, there was a story that came out, and there was apparently an imminent threat to America. And that was one, I think it was, I'm trying to think here, it was Wednesday's show. And I had gone in and started putting the information together, and then that story would change, and it would change again. Then I literally redid the first part of the show 4 times before we went live because the information kept changing. And what it turned out, what we figured out on Wednesday, was the whole thing was pretty much a hoax. It wasn't much of anything. And it's kind of interesting because now it comes out that indeed it was. Andy Biggs is calling for House Intel Chair Mike Turner's ouster over that political stunt of hyping the Russian threat. So this digs a little bit deeper into that story here. He on Friday called for the ouster of House Intelligence Committee Chairman Mike Turner for overhyping the Russia threat as conservatives tried to rein in warrantless government surveillance. Chairman Mike Turner should lose his job over his political stunt this week. Really what it turned out to be. And we called it. We got it right. His cryptic statements caused the markets to crash and created unnecessary panic. And we didn't panic, but maybe some people did. This stunt conveniently occurred during the week. We wanted to curtail warrantless government surveillance. Briggs wrote on Friday morning, sharing a video of his interview with former Trump strategist Steve Bannon. What do you think?
This guy is a scumbag. This guy...
Turner. Mike
Turner.
Yep.
Yeah, turns out, he had just been over to Ukraine, palling it up with the comedian actor over there, Zelensky. And so, yeah, he comes back here, and that's when this whole Russia, the nukes in space, they got nukes in space, they're going to, end of the world, all their purpose is to get more money over to Ukraine.
It's nothing for our border. We're not going to support Ukraine's border and leave ours open. So then he comes up with this stunt, which when I put those two together, then it's like, okay, I see what this is. This is a game.
It's all smoke. Everything that goes on in Washington, D.C. is smoke and mirrors. This is all a ploy to more fear, to try to pressure Republicans to vote for this stuff. And it's not going to work. That's why we the people, I've talked about on my show, the We the People Party. We've been trying to get a third party for a very long time. This binary choice, Republican, Democrat, they tried third parties and they crash and burn. But right now we have a viable third party that is rising all over the world, and it's We the People. And so if we stop outsourcing our own self-governance, we can take this stuff back a lot quicker. And by calling and phoning and emailing and all kinds of other things, tagging them on social media, your senators, your representative in Congress, you should have that. Their secretaries should know your first name. Yep.
It was a ploy to get them to vote on funding for Ukraine. That's all it was. It wasn't anything more than that.
100%.
Yep. Crazy the lengths these crazy people are going to go to.
And the thing, a lot of times this would have gone on longer, but we the people are seeing this stuff. We're calling it out, boom, right now.
Yep.
So that's why we the people, we are the news now. And so, we got to stay on top of it to keep these, you give them an inch, take a mile. They've got so much rope now. We're pulling, trying to rein them back in. But we're getting closer to reining them back in. And we just can't, you can't buy into anything that comes out of D.C. Nothing.
I had it as a top story for Wednesday's show. And I was just having an uneasy feeling about it. I said, there's something more here. This doesn't make a lot of sense. And, like I said, I redid the show like 4 times at the beginning of the show before we went live with it. And by the time we had gone live, I'd already figured out what the challenge was here, that this was just a hoax. And yeah, it is difficult because so much of it looks real and it's coming from authoritative places. You think, oh, these guys, they're not going to lie to you. And then you turn around and you go, well, hell, yeah, they will. Not only will they did, It's just
did
crazy.
And are and will, yeah.
Yep. Crazy,
No,
crazy,
it's,
crazy.
The easiest way is to cut off their money supply.
All right. Is she a hostile witness, yes or no?
Where Ms. Willis should be treated.
According to her, she's not.
I think we
And
have.
I very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Ms. Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Ms. Merchant's.
Ms. Merchant's interests are contrary to democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
All right.
She's demonic.
And the biggest thing that the people are coming up, her dress was on backwards. Her
Can't make this
was
stuff
on
up.
the-
It's just
No.
unreal, right?
Yeah, she had the zipper thing in the front. And she doesn't know her geography. She doesn't know what continent Belize is in.
I think I got to go to her house. There's cash all the time there, huh?
Yeah, so all the
Okay, tell me.
career people up there in Fulton County.
I'm thinking the same thing with Bruce. Tell every career criminal where you live. Find out her address, and supposedly she keeps money. And everybody's talking about her dress being on backwards. I remember I grew up in like the '80s, right? I remember the little rap group called Crisscross. I know into hip hop.
Yeah.
Maybe she's just trying to impersonate the Crisscross group. With the backwards dress. But we all know it's where the money came from. I mean,
Because she's a lonely person without any partner. That she's been divorced. She doesn't have anybody. She couldn't reach the zipper it up in the back.
that's what it is.
Oh,
Maybe her ass is backwards.
So the idea that she always has cash in the house, and then she talked about her campaign. Remember, I told you they run campaigns, and at the end of the campaign, they get to keep all the money that's left. So she had a huge chunk of cash from that, and she says, "Well, I'm still using it." I love her answer. Money is fungible. It is, but that doesn't tell me where it came from.
no.
That's like saying
But
water is wet. Okay, but where's the leak?
But I mean, there's campaign finance rules. You just can't keep, if you got cash after the end of your campaigns, that just write me a check, I'll just take it, or just whatever. There's ways she can't do that, so that she just admitted that right there on the stand.
Yep.
And then that was yesterday. Today was even more exciting. It was it's must see TV. Good, I think today they're about to have one other small hearing, like the closing statements, but they're ending their evidentiary stuff today. We'll see what happens.
What do you think happens with her? Do you think she gets charged, or do you think they just like slap on the wrist and keep going? Because if they charge her, the whole case against Trump is gone. It's thrown out, and all the other co-defendants, the 26 others, right? The whole
I
thing
believe
goes
so.
away.
I mean, there's a huge for dismissal. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like the first point. This is my own viewpoint. I'm not a legal guy, but based on what I've seen and heard, from a common sense and logic standpoint, yeah, she's corrupt, and she and this guy had an affair before he's still actually married technically today, because the divorce isn't final. This guy that she hired, to take out Trump. So I mean, should be disqualified. That's the whole purpose of this trial thing, is to disqualify her from being on the case, and her man toy, her boy toy. We'll see what this judge. There's no jury; it's a judge's decision. So we'll see what ends up happening. But she should be gone.
Well, if she's gone, then the case is gone. Then all the ones who all took the plea deals and everything, they look like bigger idiots now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
The Kraken,
Sidney
and then
Powell?
that other
Yep.
Sidney Powell, and the other one, that other turncoat. She just went crazy, like one way
Jennifer
to the
Ellis.
other. Yeah,
Jenna Ellis.
Jenna Ellis.
Jenna Ellis. Yeah, she was just she just was crazy. I mean, she just came out hard the other way. So I don't know what was into her.
They
Who
flipped
knows
her.
what
They flipped her. They
Yeah.
threatened her enough, and she flipped.
Yep. We
So
know how they
kudos
do
to
it,
this
right?
other guy for bringing this up. It was one of the other defendants who, had a sniffing or came across this, and he's the one who brought this up, and other people kind of domino checked into it. So yeah, it's anxious. I watched Viva Fry today, giving his commentary while this thing was going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I watched Good Logic, LAWGIC. good logic, commenting on it. So I've been keeping a thumb on the pulse. It's like
yeah,
the
the
OJ
only
thing.
guy
It's
that they
like a
kept
train
in
wreck.
prison, right? He was the only defendant they put in prison. Didn't let him back out. Went
black guy,
for the
yeah.
arraignment. Yeah, and then so he's the one, or his lawyers brought this up. They did the snooping around to find out that Fani Willis was corrupt, and they're the ones who brought all this to light.
Yeah, I mean it's
It's the golden
attorneys,
boomerang, my friend. It is.
Well, I need to get me a boomerang. Some of the people in Australia that are down there, some of the partners that we have down in Australia, man, I need a boomerang.
Okay.
I need to have I'm going to put a golden boomerang on the wall.
Ben is saying the shit show is getting weirder and weirder. You're right, Ben. It certainly is. And that's a sign that it's coming to an end. If anyone's wondering, when things get crazier and crazier, it's spiraling out of control. That means at some point, ba-boom, the whole thing ends because it cannot continue forever in this direction.
Right, because the water is spinning fastest just before it goes down the toilet drain.
That's right.
So it starts off slow, it gets down, boom.
Spoken like a true plumber there, Bruce. Yeah. So, people are losing hope. It's like you just got to remind them, look at the level of crazy that's out there and look at the things falling apart and the wheels falling off of all these court cases. And look how the pendulum is now starting to shift and going back in the other direction. It's like it is not much longer that we're going to have to endure this. And we're going to have a rebuild period. Manager Jax the other day had a great analogy, and he said we're moving into a period of being in the corridor where people are going to have to choose this side or this side, right? And as we go through, it's a very short period of time where you're going to have to choose which side you're going to be on, and those who choose the wrong side will be wiped off, and they'll be gone. And then the people who choose the right, then our work is going to be literally to rebuild. And he said a lot of the companies that we're so familiar with are going to be gone because they're evil, right?
Yep.
So you think of the Starbuckses of the world, and you think of, some of he was talking about concrete specifically. He said a lot of these concrete companies where they grind human bones and stuff from there, and they grind them all up. He said, you're not going to be able to buy concrete anymore for a while until patriots like us come up and create new concrete companies that are ethical and do it the correct way. And don't do that kind of thing. So he said we're going to go through a rebuild period, and it's going to be a little challenging. Okay, I think we can deal. I can live without Starbucks coffee. Could you?
Well, absolutely. I got Joe's coffees as the Greg's.
Yeah.
Joey G's gets the coffee truck, man. Got to get your morning Joe.
Yep.
Cup of Joe. I mean, but all this, federal stuff and all these things that we talk about, a lot of that's, bullshit. The battle where we, the people, really need to step up is in the local areas, in the schools and the different things. They're still pushing headlong, for this LGBTQ stuff in the schools. I mean, that's not a clone. It's not a mask. It's not, part of the movie. These guys, they're pushing this agenda on children, and they're effing them up in their minds and their bodies all over the place. So, I mean, that stuff we need to push harder there. There's a story just in Gateway Pundit. A 90-year-old woman was fired from her volunteer position she held for 60 years for asking what pronouns meant.
Yep.
90-year-old lady asking, what do you mean pronouns? And they freaking fired her. This is the stupid shit that we have to deal with.
Yep.
So she has more common sense than Joe Biden.
Absolutely.
90 years old.
Put her in the White House, and she'd probably do things way better. But, I mean, those are the types of things we need to battle, this cultural war that we're fighting, to push us into this homogenous, acceptance of this stuff. And no, I'm not going to accept it.
Yep.
Not for the children, not when a 90-year-old lady is fired for asking what pronouns meant, and she loses a volunteer position for 60 years. This is just insane. The Minnesota school district allows Muslims now to opt out of the LGBTQ curriculum.
Yep.
Right. So Muslims can opt out, but normal white people can't.
Yeah. And what's crazy is it's a volunteer position, so she's doing it out of the kindness of her heart, not getting paid, and they fire her for it.
Yep.
Right. This
She's
is the stupidity, the insanity that's going on in our world.
Well, you just look at the illegals and how much they're getting paid. They get paid more than the retirees. They get paid more than the veterans, right? And it's like those guys contributed nothing to this society. They just got here.
Yep.
No,
that's the criminal portion. Those are the battles that we should be fighting on the daily. Not worrying about what's going on in D.C. Most of that's smoke and mirrors, fake, phony, and false anyway. Just stop filing your 1040s and you'll be good.
Hey, I just want to welcome those people who just joined us. We saw our numbers have jumped up in the last 10, 15 minutes here. If you are new to our channel, please make sure you follow the channel for more, because we do these shows 5 days a week. This is our Friday show. It's a little bit lighter, a little bit funner, but we do cover the news the rest of the week, and we have great interviews as well. So if you don't mind following the channel, you'll be notified by email, and also give it a like, give it a thumbs up if you got more votes than any other president in the history of the entire United States, being shown a lot of love there.
Yeah. So this is another. This has to be part of the movie situation,
this
right?
This is the movie, yeah.
Anybody in any campaign manager are worth their salt to have anybody with half a brain and one eye knows that he's persona non grata there in East Palestine, and him going there today is just. Makes no sense in the world. It's just it doesn't make any sense from a logical, critical thinking standpoint. If you're trying to garner votes, that's not the place you want to go, Joe.
That's exactly right. It's really weird that he'd show up there at this point, because they're almost 100% against him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's no saving face a year plus later. I mean, the saving face is you show up 2 days later.
Absolutely. I mean, we did a lot, with Screw Big Gov and the honey guy, Todd. We did right when yeah, exactly. When we did a live-a-thon or telethon thing raising money, and I think it was close to $13,000 we raised in one night. We had given honey that we were selling and donating that money to the firefighters for their equipment. There's other people, Scott McKay was on there, Jason was on there, shirts and hats were donated. Scott donated a tomahawk. Somebody donated $1,000 to get a tomahawk. So, I mean, we did a ton of stuff right when that happened. That was, it was horrible the way that they were treated. And so, yeah, it's just comical that he even goes there. I'm curious to see any footage of him. Did he just drive through? Did he even stop? And try to make a speech?
I don't see why he would stop. I don't know why. Where are they going to find supporters for him, right?
And the Secret Service, stop. We don't want to stop here, man. Just go. Just keep driving.
Not necessarily that it's dangerous, but that it's bad optics if it's anything, because if that gets on the news, Let's
Maybe
go,
we'll
Brandon.
hit the local Dairy Queen. Hit the local Dairy Queen and suck on some ice cream.
Yeah, well, that would be better optics for him, Yeah, no question.
Or drink out of some water fountains.
Oh, brother. Do you have anything else for us before we end our show there, Bruce?
I do have one little thing. We always want to have fun, right? Mm-hmm. Let me see if I got to find it real quick.
Bruce just wants to have fun.
Yep, not just girls.
I love it. Right on the money there. But, who doesn't love, as we end up here for the weekend, who doesn't love to see and hear a baby laughing? So I found a TikTok video, and it's just a bunch of babies laughing. You'll enjoy this as we end us out here today.
Where'd you go? You had the screen share going.
Oh, did I stop?
Yep.
Take two.
Take two, ladies and gentlemen.
This screen. Those are probably Hey Dudes, man, because those Hey Dudes are hot.
Yep.
That's funny. Stepped in the one and then got the one on the other side. That was great. I love it.
Love it. Buckshot, thank you so much for being part of our show today.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for inviting me on.
Happy birthday to you. Everyone's been wishing you happy birthday throughout the show. It's been fantastic to see that.
Thank you very much, everyone. Appreciate everyone being here and showing up. Love you all.
And we'll be back Monday with the news program. It looks like I'll probably be doing it solo. Lewis will show up as he can. I know he's on the road still. And then Tuesday we'll be back with our regularly scheduled Lewis and Rob hour. And then next Friday, guess what? Bruce Poppy's back. You got to wait a whole week, but boy, it's worth it. I got to tell you.
So yeah, I'm doing a program change as well for me.
Program change. I'm only gonna run my shows this coming week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. In the morning, 9 a.m. in the morning on my channel, Unpopular Viewpoint on Rumble, Bruce Poppy 1776 on X, and Bruce Poppy on Facebook. Depending on what I talk about, I'll put it on my YouTube channel as well. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern is when we have some fun.
And we have another rather large storm heading our way, so I may not be able to make it to the studio a day or two next week, and I'll be from home again, which is never my joy, but the show must go on no matter what. No matter how big the storm is, we will be here for you. We'll figure out the best we can to make that system work. And thank you to Lisa for all her work stepping up when I can't quite get to the controls. Go, Lisa, yep. Lisa! And yeah, with that, I think we're going to wrap up for today. I hate the end of these shows. I hate to say goodbye. It's so much fun when we all get together and play. And, Fridays are always a fun show, a nice way to wrap up the week. Guys, keep your head up. Things are going better than it looks sometimes on the outside, and we got to focus on what we want. No infighting, no calling people names on our side, no calling people names on the other side either. They're going to need us when they finally wake up and realize they have been so bamboozled by the people they trusted. They're going to come crawling to us and go, "What in the heck did I miss?" So we got to be there for them. And there's no "I told you so." There's no beating them up for not listening. They didn't. For whatever reason, they chose not to. They'll come around. I have faith.
Me too.
Yep. Got to keep that ego in check.
Yep, absolutely.
All
right. Have a great weekend. Lots of love to everyone. Thank you, Bruce.
Love
Thank you,
guys.
Buckshot. We'll see you all.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Poppy.